Welcome to the Extension Hour. This is Amy Ressler. I'm happy to be back here in the studio, right here at Internet Radio Lone Star. But you know what? We're going to FM. We should be FM soon, if not now, soon. So it's great to be here. And I've got a very special guest with me today because I usually always have somebody great coming in. And I have the wonderful, amazing, talented Ashton Herring. Say hi, Ashton.
Hi, everybody.
Ashton is with the Montgomery County Hospital District, and we're going to talk a little bit more about her and what she does and all that good stuff. But first, I got to go through some of the stuff to tell you about what's going on in the Extension office. Because, you know, Ashton, I think one of the things that we have in common as far as the Extension Service and the hospital district, a lot of people kind of they go, oh, yeah, but have absolutely no idea what we do. So hopefully the people that are listening, that listen to the Extension Hour, we're here every Friday, 1 to 2, and we all take turns, so we've got several different departments. But hopefully people who have been listening kind of know what we're doing. But in case this is the first time someone's tuning in, we just want to tell you a little bit about some of the stuff that happens with the Extension Service. So we're all about community-based education. We have very main areas that we work in, and that's agriculture, natural resources, which also includes horticulture. We've got 4-H and youth development, and then my department is family and consumer sciences. So some of the things that are happening, actually the Master Gardeners are really, really, really excited about what they have coming up. Greg Grant. He is an award-winning horticulturalist, a writer, a conservationalist, and the 7th generation Texan from Arcadia, Texas. So he is going to be here in Conroe at the Extension office there at our Master Gardeners building. And on what day is he going to be there? Actually, this Saturday, November 5th, he'll be there 9 to 11, and he's like a very, very well-known speaker. So no problem if you haven't registered. There's still some space. It's $30 at the door. And if you need any information, you can call the Extension office. And actually, we have several numbers that we use at the Extension office, but they all kind of start with the same ones. We've got 936-539-7824. Or you can call 7825 or 7822, all of those. Anyway, we have kind of a menu system so people can find us. So Greg Grant, if you've heard of him, want to hear him, now is your chance. Come on out. The Extension office is at 9020 Airport Road. We're right across the street from the Lone Star Convention Center. And then for our agricultural type people, those who like horses, we've got an equine health update coming up. There'll be a veterinary panel program. They'll talk about health and disease concerns, dentistry, management techniques for horses in transit, vaccination schedules, lameness issues. And I'm just laughing because, I'm not a horse person, so lameness. That's what I actually call people who drive in the left lane all the time. They just
the slow people in the left lane.
Yeah, I call them left lamers. Such lameness. But this is talking about horse lameness. I'm getting off topic. So the equine health update, Tuesday evening, November 15th. Registration begins at 6. There's a meal and a program at 6:30. And it's at the same location, 9020 Airport Road. We've got lots of happening things going on there. Registration fee for that is $15. That covers, the evening meal and the program materials and all that good stuff. So if you're interested in that, talk to Mike Heimer or April Fagan, and 936-539-7822. But again, like I said, it's got a menu system that'll take you to where you need to be. And then often people need some certification, some CEU hours for pesticide applicator training. So we've got lots of folks that do that. And yes, the Extension Service provides those continuing education hours. So we have a conference scheduled for that on December 15th. And that one will also be there at the Extension office, but I think this is the one that they're going to also try to do via virtual learning as well. But if you'd like more information about that, if you need some continuing education hours, or you're just really interested in stuff like laws and regulations,
or killing bugs.
Yeah, just killing bugs. That's what they do. Forage systems for the southern Great Plains, turf management techniques, aquatic weed control techniques, catered lunch. I'm always good for lunch. Weed control techniques, ants impacting our life, and that's ANTS, not your father's sister. So ants in impacting our lives. I know someone who says aunts. That's AUNT, which makes sense, aunts. But It's funny. And then herbicides and soil fertility interactions. All right. So December 15th is the pesticide CEUs. November 15th is the horse stuff. All right. So you've heard of 4-H?
I have.
Yes, we've got awesome kids in our 4-H program. And, here in Montgomery County, there's like over 20 clubs. So there's plenty all across the county for people to choose from. It's not too late to join. In fact, you can join like any time of year. Often our 4-H members register or become the new 4-H year starts September 1st, and so that's kind of the starting point. Even though it's November, you can still join, and there's a $25 registration fee. If you want to find out more about how to join, call the office 936-539-7823. Or 22, or 24, or 25. Like I said, all of those will get you to the same place. So it's not too late to join up. And the other cool thing that this time of year for our 4-H members, their big fundraiser is pecans. They sell pecans.
Oh,
you
perfect
like
for
pecans?
baking season.
Exactly. So they are usually in for the week of Veterans Day. They don't know the exact date yet. But if you call the office by the 10th or on the 10th or a little bit after the 10th, whatever, they can tell you when exactly all the pecans are come in. And those, so they have some pre-orders that have already been made, and then it's open to the public. So it's kind of first come, first serve. You can come by the office, pick some up. They expect them to be in during the week of the 14th, probably more towards the end of the week, but definitely for sale for the public, $11.50 per pound, which is not too bad.
No.
But they're really, really good, high quality pecans. They come from South Country Pecans, just south of San Antonio. So
Fresh off the tree.
Yes, fresh off the tree, local. You can get them in halves or pieces, either one. All right, so other things we have going on. I could tell you about our Family Consumer Sciences programs. I've been doing some Master of Memory classes. Generally, these are for like older adults, but we do them at, I've been offering them at the Academy for Lifelong Learning in Montgomery and in New Caney. And then I've got a course series going at the Camelot Pines apartment complex.
Right here in Conroe.
Yeah. And this, so a lot of the things that we do by request. Like I said, extension's very community driven. So if people, they call us up and say, hey, do you have a program on? Can you teach somebody about this? Whatever. Pretty much, we probably have something that we can educate on. And then it's also great to have community partners like you guys
Yeah.
to help extend and also teach those things. Because, there's so many people in Montgomery County that it takes a lot of us to provide information, education, all that kind of stuff. And we'll talk more about some of the stuff that we work on together, Ashton and I and a few others. But so Master of Memory classes. Also, we have a child care provider conference coming up. So child care providers have to have continuing education hours. And we do a conference, and so I work with a group of other agents, and it's held in Bryan. So it's not too terribly far. Hour
Right down
drive.
105, yeah.
Yeah, not too terribly far. So that will be on November 12th. And so there's still an opportunity to register for that if you're interested. 936-539-7825.
They should really know that phone number by now.
I should, yeah. Like I said, it's just the last two, or actually the last number is the only one that's different. It's all 936-539-782, and there's 22, 23, 24, 25. Mine's 25. That's what it, or used to be, but now it all goes to a menu system.
So if you can just get somewhere in the ballpark of that number, you can get the menu.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. And then you have to say you can look us up online. Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service, Montgomery County. We've got great Facebook pages.
So you're on social media. That's
We
where.
are.
Yeah.
That's where it's at. Yes, our Facebook page, Healthy Living in Montgomery County. So we try to post things on that. And then we have a Montgomery County Extension Office Facebook page as well. So lots of good stuff on that. So some other stuff we do. We have our Better Living for Texans programs. They're nutrition education, and we've got two outstanding extension assistants who focus in that program specifically, and so they're available to offer classes for anyone who's interested. They focus on nutrition. Fresh Start to a Healthier You is one of the courses that they offer, so always looking for places to do that. And then with our youngins, the Head Start sites, they've been participating this past month in our Families Reading Every Day project.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah, and so we're having celebrations next week. We need celebrity readers. You want to come read?
I'll come read.
You could wear your uniform, and they would be so.
I think that would be so fun.
Yeah, so we'll have to talk about that.
Okay.
Yep.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah. So it's awesome. So during the project, they spend about 4 weeks, parents reading with their kids. So we know parents do that. Most parents do that anyway, but we just really want them to focus on it for the 4 weeks. The idea is to help the children develop kind of a lifelong love for reading and learning, and doing that at the Head Start age is important and makes an impression and influence on the rest of their life. So then we do a celebration. United Way helps us. They provide some funding, so we're able to give the kids little prizes. We get books for each one of the classrooms that stay in the classrooms. And actually, when the project starts, we have Girl Scouts who have been doing book drives, and then they give us books so that we can give those to the kids.
That's so great.
Yes, everyone has one to start with.
Recycling books, getting kids to read. Sounds like a great program.
It is. We love it. And then the other thing, mobile cooking schools that we have. So we try to teach people quick, easy, economical ways to make healthy food at home. And so those classes, again, we look for hosts. We try to do those to whoever's interested, and it's good because we get to actually eat. So it's very hands-on. We prepare a meal and then we sit down and eat it. Talk about food safety, nutrition, all those kinds of things. Family environment.
Yeah, can't beat dinner and learning. I guess.
Right.
All back to that free food thing, I guess.
Yep. Food is great. So yeah, those are some of the things going on. So give us a call, and then in the meantime. We've got some things that we work with together, which is our child passenger safety is one of them. So both of us are child passenger safety technicians.
It's a mouthful.
Are you an instructor?
I'm not. I'm just a child passenger safety technician. I've been doing it for about 2 years now.
Yeah.
So trying to eventually work my way up there. But child passenger safety technician, it's an incredible, I guess, title to have. We have a huge responsibility.
We do. Lots of training. And speaking of CEUs, oh my gosh, my certification almost expired, and I was trying to get them in the very last minute.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. So we're gonna take a little bit of a break, and then when we come back, we'll talk more with Ashton and find out more about the hospital district. And but don't forget FM 104.5 and 106.1, and this is Amy Ressler with the Extension Hour.
You are listening to the Extension Hour on irlonestar.com.
Lone Star Community Radio is FM. That's right. Set your radio dials and your button presets to Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1, coming in June of 2016. To celebrate this edition and the addition of video versions of our talk and music shows on YouTube, cable TV, and Our City TV, we are offering special sponsorships rates, which include free audio spots that are played throughout our broadcast. Interested? Check out our sponsor rates for shows just like the one you're listening to online at irlonestar.com/sponsor, or call the station at 936-647-5747. Reaching the people of Montgomery County with Montgomery County's community radio station with Lone Star Community Radio.
You're listening to the Extension Hour with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension. Visit us online at montgomery.agrilife.org.
Good afternoon. We are back. So, Dick, this new station is just awesome, but I got to remember to press the button. It's my turn to talk. Press the button. Okay, so this is Amy Ressler. I'm County Extension Agent for Family and Consumer Sciences. You're listening to the Extension Hour. Very excited to be here on FM radio 104.5 and 106.1, and every Friday, 1 to 2. And actually, you might hear somebody different every time. every Friday because we take turns in our extension office doing the extension hour. So you will hear a variety of topics, and sometimes you may listen in and go, wait, where is that goofy girl that was talking last time? Or that guy that knew all about the plants, where is he? So every Friday it'll be a little bit, somebody a little bit different, but they're all from the Extension Service, where we do outreach education and community-based education. And today our guest with us is Ashton Herring, and outreach is actually in your title, right? You're a first responder and the outreach coordinator.
Yes, for Montgomery County Hospital District. So that's a big, long, fancy name.
Fancy names are good. It makes us feel important,
I
right?
guess so, right? To basically say that I work with all of our first responder organizations in the county, so I'm the liaison to our fire departments and police departments in the county, whether that be for education and needs, things like that. Mm-hmm. And then I do our community outreach. So we have our child passenger safety program. We do water safety. Bike safety is what we're kind of talking about right now a little bit with the back to school. And then community CPR classes and our Safe Sitter class that we host.
Okay, cool. So let's back up just a little bit. Montgomery County Hospital District.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about what that is, what you guys do, because I'm thinking
Hospital,
yeah,
right?
Are you? Is it a hospital?
We are not a hospital. Very confusing name.
Right.
But we are charged with the indigent care for the county. That is our mission. So we host the indigent care program for Montgomery County. It's called HCAP, the Health Care Assistance Program. And so that is our main mission, although people probably most commonly know us for our ambulances. So we do the 911 service for the county. So we have those big white ambulances that you see on the streets all across our 1,100 square miles of county for 911 service. So that's probably our biggest base in the community. But we're so much more than an EMS service. We have, like I said, our healthcare assistance program. We have the public health district. So we're just a really big conglomerate of things. And again, probably most known for our ambulances.
Okay. Wow. So tell me more about what a first responder is. What does that mean?
So we have 13 fire departments here in the county, and across, all the way from Magnolia, Montgomery, all the way over to New Caney, Splendora, Porter, all the way north up to Willis, and south down to South Montgomery County, and everywhere in between. So we have 13 different fire departments, and all of those fire departments are responsible for responding to our medical calls when dispatched. And they are all EMT basics or higher. They're capable of CPR. They carry AEDs. And basically, there's more of them than there are ambulances because they just care for their community, whereas we're taking care of the whole county. So they're able to get to calls quicker sometimes and help us out with first response, a bit just what that is. So getting there, starting that care, starting those life-saving procedures, and they do a fantastic job. We have fantastic firemen here in Montgomery County.
Good. So, as a outreach coordinator, tell me kind of what's a typical day of things that you would do.
Oh, goodness. So, like I said, we do the CPR classes. So that we offer about 4 classes a month for community members to attend our CPR classes. So we do the Heart Saver CPR and Healthcare Provider CPR through the American Heart Association. So that's a chunk of time. We have the Safe Sitter classes, which we offer every other month or so.
And that's for babysitters,
Yeah,
right?
that's like
People
our,
who want to be a babysitter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So kids 11 to 14 is what
Okay.
that is geared toward. And they learn CPR, which is great. So they walk away with a CPR certification. They get their Safe Sitter certification. It's just a fun day. It's a long day, but it's a fun day.
And I think I think that would make parents feel better to know that they're leaving their child with a babysitter who has been trained and will know what to do, because sometimes we may assume. But
I think so. I think you and I made it out okay, and we probably didn't go to a Safe Sitter class, and the people who watched us probably didn't go to one either. But I mean, it's just one of those things that's that peace of mind for a parent to leave their kid home with somebody. To know when to call 911, when to call for help. Even as much as marketing themselves as a babysitter, like how do you get business? Because that's a great source of income for a child who wants to babysit. I mean, I made great money babysitting when I was younger. So, and that's a peace of mind you can offer a caregiver too. So there's a little bit to both safety, making a business out of it, for an 11 to 14-year-old. So
okay, and so you said you guys also offer the CPR courses. Those are for the general public. Those are for certain groups.
No, general public. Okay. It's first come, first serve. You have to sign up to take the class. But yeah, if anybody who's looking to take a CPR class, I highly recommend it. It is such a valuable skill. You think we go get a driver's license and you don't think anything of it. It's so second nature to be able to drive a car, but you might not know how to do CPR, and you might not know how to save somebody's life. And so I think it's a really it's a life skill you should have.
Yeah, most most definitely, because you never know when you're going to need it. So CPR, safe sitters. What else?
So during this, the warmer months, which I guess it's Texas, let's be honest, it's all warm months. But,
yes, it's November and it's 80 something.
I know.
Almost 90 degrees.
More of our, I guess I should say, pool-friendly, lake-friendly months. We focus on water safety. So we host a life jacket loaner board out on the lake. Where we take life jackets out there for the community to use. They're just it's a honor system. You take one, you bring it back when you're done for the day on the lake, and we work with the guys out there with the park to help manage that. And we do community outreach geared toward water safety that time of year. So we do some talks around the community about being safe around bodies of water. Right. Keeping our kiddos safe here in Montgomery County. So that's a seasonal one, I guess.
Yeah, but definitely very, very important. The
right.
lake can be a very dangerous place.
Right, absolutely. And then bike safety is kind of our time of year right now. So we did a few bike rodeos to kick off the back to school. So we worked a little bit with the Woodlands Township and some other community organizations. CASA did a bike rodeo and did some education and helmet fittings for kids and how to be safe when riding your bike. As you can imagine, lots of kids are going back to school and riding their bikes this year. Yep.
So you said CASA, that's the court-appointed special advocate group.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure people are listening and go, what?
Oh, yeah, what's CASA? How?
So, okay, and then the other thing, what does a bicycle rodeo, what does that entail?
Well, so they do a lot. So for example, the CASA bike rodeo, a lot of these kids were getting their first bicycle. So these are kids that are in the foster program. They got their first bike.
Neat.
And so we got to learn how to ride a bike with them and be with them as they learn how to ride a bike and get fitted for helmets. And so that was a really cool day. But most of it's about bike safety and bike education, watching out for cars, how to be safe on your bicycle, making sure you're wearing a helmet and it's fitted properly. Because just like car seats, the car seat and helmet, they're no good if they're not used correctly.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of it's a big education component. And then having fun. I mean, bikes are fun. It's healthy. Trying to encourage that component of it too.
Yeah.
So
good physical activity.
yeah.
Oh, great. So, and I've heard of like schools and communities doing bicycle rodeos and that kind of thing before.
Yes. So, like I said, we did a few with the Woodlands Township. We've done one out in Montgomery. We worked with CASA for theirs. So, just trying to do that, push that bike education for back to school.
Okay. So, safe sitters, CPR, bike safety, water safety.
Child passenger safety.
Child passenger safety, yes. Getting your children in the car seats properly fitted. What is it like? Like 99% of car seats are installed improperly?
Yeah, 4 out of 5 is I think the general number we use for it. But I think if I could look back on all the car seats I've checked, which has been a lot. I know it's been only 2 years, but I probably go to most of our Montgomery County events in those 2 years. So a lot of car seats, and I haven't seen one that's come in perfect. And that's it's not a parent thing. It's you don't know what you don't know. They send you home with a crazy crying baby and a packet of information and say bye, and you don't know if your car seat's installed right. So that's why we have a great program for those parents to get peace of mind for.
Right, because there's so many components. I mean, it's the child, and the child's changing, the growing and changing and all that, and then there's the seat, and then how the seat fits into the car, and there's 4 or 5 different types of seats, and then within those types of seats there's hundreds of models,
and then the question of what's the law, what's not the law. I heard this, I heard that,
my friend said
right,
it's totally okay.
But definitely, it's the car and the kid and the car seat, and they all have to align to be correct, and it's a lot. So I think that's why it's great to have certified child passenger safety technicians that are able to check that car seat, give you the peace of mind. It's only a few minutes of your time, and your kids are riding safely in those cars.
Yeah. So I want to talk about that more in depth in our next segment. But before we get into that, and before we take a little break, so you guys use social media. How do people find out about all of this great stuff that you're talking about?
We are on Facebook. We do have a website as well. Our website is www.mch-tx.org. And we're also on Facebook. You can find us at Montgomery County Hospital District. I think if you just type that in, that should pop up.
Should, yeah.
Um,
Do you have to put in Texas? Do you have to put in Montgomery County, Texas? Does what is it, Maryland, Virginia? One
yeah,
of those
there is
have-
there is another Montgomery County, Maryland, I believe. But my phone is smarter than I am, and so I think it just knows I'm in Texas,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it gives me that option first. But maybe if you were finding yourself in the Maryland page, try typing in Texas.
If there's towns you don't recognize, you know that's the wrong page.
Right.
Okay, and then how else can people get a hold of you guys? They can just call. How many phone numbers do you have?
So our main line is 936-523-5000. That's our lovely receptionist, Christy, and she'd be happy to help you, direct you to any department. But we do have probably more numbers than I'd like to admit or that I could rattle off. You're so much better at that. But my number is 936-523-1146. And if I don't answer, I'll call back. But that's my direct line for my office.
Because you stay pretty busy.
I
too.
do.
Yeah, because Montgomery County's huge. That's lots of
1,100 square miles.
Lots of area to cover. Okay, so this is Amy Ressler, and I've got Ashton Herring with me from Montgomery County Hospital District, and I'm with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service. You're listening to the Extension Hour right here on Lone Star Radio, 104.5, 106.1. Check us out on Facebook, and we'll be back right after this break.
You are listening to the Extension Hour with Texas A&M AgriLife. Visit us online at montgomery.agrilife.org.
Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station, and we are looking for talk show hosts and volunteer DJs for our music shows. Are you interested in having your own talk show on Lone Star, or have you always wanted to live out your dreams of being a music DJ? With the addition of Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1 and video aspects of our talk shows, we are needing people to grow with us. If you or someone you know might be interested, please contact us online at irlonestar.com/contact us, or call the station at 936-647-5747 for more information.
You're listening to the Extension Hour on Lone Star Internet Radio every Friday afternoon at 1 p.m.
And we are back. This is Amy Ressler, County Extension Agent for Family and Consumer Science, and the talented, beautiful Ashton Herring from Montgomery County Hospital District. For some reason, I want to say health. I mean, like trying to.
I think
health
that's
is trying
normal.
To come out
Like,
of,
I think that's what you would expect it to be. But
Sure.
the hospital district is what we are.
but it has a lot to do with health, safety.
Uh-huh.
So we talked a lot about safety kinds of things that you do. So one of the things that, I guess I met you a couple of different ways. So you guys participate in Kids Fest. You
Uh-huh.
often have stuff there. So I think I
It's right
knew
outside.
that was happening. And then I guess when I really officially met you in person was at one of the child
seat
passenger safety car seat events.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we do car seat checkup events. So they're public events. Pretty much anybody can come. Some of them are by appointment only.
Yeah. In fact, I would recommend an appointment if they're
Yeah.
taking appointments for it, because that way you can show up at the time you want. And some of these people that have multiple kids, I'm sure that's a process to get out the door. So if you time that hour of getting 3 kids in the car in a car seat out the door to go to your car seat events, you can show up at that time you
At a
want.
certain time. And then, but some of them are just public, so just come show
Yeah.
up. And I mean, I guess there's some that maybe don't, or they don't really take appointments, so you just kind of show up and wait your turn, and it kind
Right.
of depends on how many people are out there.
Yeah.
So sometimes you may be waiting a while, sometimes you get right in.
Yep.
But now, if you do come to one, I think this is something that's important for people to be aware of. It takes a few minutes. I mean, it's not like hours and hours, but it is. We're there to educate.
Right, absolutely.
The main goal of those events is let me teach you how to use this seat with your child in your vehicle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it takes about 30 minutes, I would think, maybe 45 per child, per seat.
Yeah, that's another important thing.
That's the like star note to that, per child. But I mean, 30 minutes for the peace of mind and to know that your child is safe. To be a certified child passenger safety technician, it's a 40-hour class. I mean, you've sat through it, I've sat through it. It's a beast of a class, and but you learn so much. So these are people that have a wealth of knowledge, And then on top of that, somebody's double checking that seat. So you're leaving that day and you've helped participate in that install process. You've been educated on your seat, like you said, and you've had 2 certified child passenger safety technicians check that off. And I think that's incredible to be just positive. That,
Oh, yeah. Because we talked about before the break how we've seen different statistics. So 4 out of 5 seats are installed incorrectly, or I saw a statistic that said up to 99% of car seats are installed incorrectly. And it's not that parents are dumb or
right. It's not that they're doing it on purpose either.
Yeah,
it's just,
not
you don't know what you don't know. And like the car seat manual is probably the last thing you read when you have a crying baby at home and brand new kid and everything else. And so that little car seat manual probably gets put at the bottom of some pile of things that you're going to get to later, and it just happens. So,
and then I think some people kind of think of it in terms of regulatory. They do it because they have to, and they're only going to just don't want to get a ticket. Which I don't want to get a ticket either, but. My kids are grown now, but I've got a beautiful grandbaby.
Yeah.
She's gorgeous. She's 15 months old, and I could go on about her, but we'll talk about anybody's kids. So we want to keep the kids safe, and it's
Absolutely.
more important about the safety of your child as opposed to whether you get a ticket or not.
Right, and I'll use Penny, who is our fearless leader, Penny Fry.
She's awesome,
and she calls herself the neurotic car seat mom, and in a way she kind of is. But she's not a paramedic. She's not with this extension office. She's just a mom who went through the car seat process and learned that we had a need to educate people on car seats. And she has a 12-year-old son who, as sweet as he is and as grown as he is, he's still kind of short, and he still sits in a booster seat. And I think that's great. A lot of people think, well, man, I hit that 8 years old and I can be out of a booster seat. But it's not a matter of like what looks cool, and it's a matter of being safe. And that booster seat, if you still need it because you're not tall enough, that could be the difference between, severe injury in a car accident or not. And it's really important.
Yeah. So when I was getting my continuing education hours, I think one of the things that they were covering is the age at which car seats are most often misused, and it's like from I want to say it was from 8 to 12 years old, because a lot of kids don't think that they need, or parents don't think that their kids need a car seat, so they, you just fit in the seat belt. But when you look at how that belt fits on a child, so if it's not low and across the hips, and it's more in their stomach, if there is a crash, and it can be a crash even as little as 20, 30 miles an hour, like what we can, it can do some really serious internal damage because it, the seat belt tightens, and the force of the child going forward, it can cause some really
squishes all those important things you have in there. You think we use the Twinkie demonstration and give kids a Twinkie in the package, let them squeeze it, and that's the same concept. All the innards of the Twinkie squish, and it's not a recognizable Twinkie anymore. And although our children aren't Twinkies, they're a little bit more sturdy than that. It's a good, I think, image of, if that car seat's not sitting over a reinforced part, so reinforced by your hip bones and reinforced by your collarbone.
The non-squishy parts.
The non-squishy
the bony parts. Yeah.
And then you can have some damage associated with that.
Yeah. So the older kids, I think, are one that's often the seats are misused. And then also I would say the little ones. The rear facing. So let's talk a little bit about the difference between rear facing and forward facing, and why. What's the preference?
So the law states, and I guess I'll start with that. The law states that you have to stay rear facing until 1 year, so a complete 1 year, full 12 months old. And but we recommend rear facing until 2, or even until you've exceeded that weight of the car seat. Some of these higher end brands of car seats allow you to rear face your child for so much longer. And the reality of it is, Amy, is if you and I could ride rear facing as adults with a 5-point harness on, you and I would be safer. So I'm still waiting on Google to come out with that car that drives itself, and then we can all ride backwards.
There you go. We'll be safe. And then, but if they were like controlled, maybe they wouldn't be running into each other.
Maybe so too.
Yeah, maybe a moot point at that.
But
yeah, let's though clarify just a little bit about rear facing, because we throw around a lot of terms that we just assume that people mean.
And it's the radio, so they think our hand motions over here are going to translate.
We're moving a lot. So rear facing, that means the seat is installed where the child is, their face, they're looking at the back of the seat.
So the child is literally riding backwards.
Yes. And they need to be in the back seat, also not in the front seat. And I think that maybe that's one thing. I don't, have you ever seen one riding?
I
in the
haven't.
front?
No,
Yeah.
not that young.
I think people know at pretty much that point that
Right.
you have to be in the back.
Right.
The middle in the seat, the middle seat in the back is by far the safest position in the vehicle.
I guess
So-
the catch to that is if you have one kid.
yeah.
If you have
Oh, yeah.
one child, the middle seating position is the safest. But then after that, you obviously can't take 6 cars to transport your family somewhere. So everybody can run in the middle seat. So after that, it becomes a matter of, I think the youngest goes in the middle, and then you put your older ones in the outboard. And that tends to be the preference, at least. But obviously, it's whatever we can install your car seats and safely and properly in those seating positions.
Right. Because the youngest is the most vulnerable.
Right.
Vulnerable.
Yes.
they're underdeveloped, so they need a little bit more protection.
Yeah.
Okay, so rear facing. The law states
Yeah, 1 year old.
1 year old. So 1 year and 1 day, I'm going to turn that kid around.
So babies, without even, most people know babies have really big heads.
Right.
Their heads are proportionally larger
And heavier.
And so that goes into play with all of this. So you think your car is traveling forward and you get in an accident. If that child is facing forward with you, just like you and I would, that head snaps forward, and we see lots of evidence of neck trauma, spine trauma in those accidents, and that can be deadly. Or it could be developmentally problematic. You could have neck and back problems the rest of their life, and that only happens at a young age. So that's why that rear facing is so important. It decreases that chance of that neck and spine trauma because they're supported by that car seat in the event of an accident.
Sure. So what we tell parents, we tell families, rear face as long as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
So 2 years old,
Right.
even 3 years
If you
old.
got a little bitty kiddo, you could probably rear face them, for as long as, some of these seats go up to 60 pounds rear facing.
Right. And what we hear often is, but his legs, he's like all crunched up. And
Right.
so what do we tell parents about
So
that?
crisscross applesauce, I think, is what Penny likes to tell them. But there's not a lot of evidence supporting leg trauma in car accidents from that reason, from having that rear facing. Their legs might be folded, and really, if you were to do that in your entire child's life, have them rear facing as long as possible, they don't know any different. They might get footprints on your on the back of your seat. But if that's the worst thing that happens in your lifetime of that car, then I think that's a great outcome,
Right.
So if you can keep your child safer by keeping them rear facing, I think that's the best way to go.
Yeah. So, all right. So rear facing, that's one of the probably a common mistakes. Maybe children are turned around too soon or, and again, like you said, legally 1 year, you're not going to get a ticket, but in terms of safety and keeping your child safe as long as possible. So when you do get ready to turn them around, then we call it front facing.
Yes.
So there's a couple different types of, there's some seats that do rear facing and you can turn them around
Right.
forward facing. There's some can only go rear facing, and so you'd have to get another seat to go forward facing. But when children are forward facing, let's talk a little bit about the common mistakes we see with those.
So I think, if those rear-facing convertible seats, the ones that go from rear-facing to forward-facing, those are really nice because you get a longer seat life out of them. But sometimes people forget to adjust the angles of the seat. So we see that often. But the biggest thing is the harnesses, where the harness sits on the child, where that chest clip sits on the child. I think those are probably some of our big misuses in those car seats.
Sure. And so also even the harness, sometimes they're too loose, which gives a lot of room for the child to slam forward
Right,
in
and
a
get
crash,
there
yeah.
out of the car seat.
So I always like to tell families or parents that we want to keep it really snug. Just give them a great hug. It's like you're hugging them when
Right.
they're in their seat.
Right.
Yeah. And then the chest clip. It's another thing that's often.
Yeah, those are supposed to go all the way up at the armpit level, and you see them again. It goes back to that squishy parts thing. So you want to put the chest clip over a place where it's reinforced by bone, so that hard bone in your chest, and versus their squishy parts in their tummy. So we want it all the way up at their armpit level to make sure that the kid stays in their harness in the event of an accident, and also that that part is reinforced by the hard stuff.
Yeah. And then moving on up along the shoulder line. So the straps there need to be at or above their shoulders.
Right.
And that's when they're forward facing.
Forward facing.
Yes. So it's opposite of rear facing. It should
Yeah.
be at or below so that it just kind of holds that child
Yeah.
in. But forward facing at or above. Another thing, sometimes they're like, twisted and not straight, flat.
Yeah, I can only imagine, and you've had kids, and you've got to put this wiggly thing in this car seat, and you might have a child that hates their car seat or is not particularly happy that day, and so I can only imagine it's difficult to try to get arms in the seat. But yes, you got to really make sure those harnesses stay straight and don't get all twisted. And again, that goes back to keeping that kid in the car seat. In the event of an accident, if it's all twisted, it might not react the way the manufacturers intended it to in the event of a car wreck.
Yeah. So let's see. Harness being tight. Other things.
I think
think
the big thing comes to ladies are purses, our strollers, our, you name it, your water bottle. I know that sounds really silly, but all those things that become projectiles. And Amy, all my friends are having babies right now. And it's all the cute stuff that they sell you. It's the cute things. It's the car seat covers and the little dangly things and the mirrors. And I think and they're cute, and you get them, people give them to you in your baby shower, and you just want to stick it on there. And that's probably one of our biggest no's, and because they become projectile objects in the event of an accident. So they say something that you wouldn't, and please don't do this at home, something you wouldn't throw at your child from about 3 feet away, you don't want loose in your car.
Yeah.
And because that could hurt them. And it could hurt you. I mean, you're driving, a stroller to the back of your head would hurt pretty bad.
Yeah, I think that would hurt.
So,
Yeah.
and people don't think that, there's no way the stroller is going to come loose out of the back of my Suburban. Well, I'm here to tell you we've seen it happen.
Yeah.
And so it's just being mindful of those things and all the cute stuff. The mirrors, they're such a distraction for drivers because you're like, oh, look, they're blowing bubbles and cute. And then you run a red light. And so you're creating possibly a higher chance of a car accident there.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. So from forward, so we go rear facing into forward facing, then they're getting a little bit larger. So the state law says by the time they're 8.
8 or 4'9".
Okay.
Booster seats.
Interesting thing I learned. Did you know on the growth chart, the tallest 8-year-old is only like 4'6"?
Interesting.
So they're still 3 inches under what that 4'9" should be. So
Right.
even, if you're really going strictly by the 8 or 4.9. So what the instructor that was teaching this class that was pointing that out said, you can follow the state law. The law of Texas says 8 or 4.9, or you can follow the law of physics.
Right.
And when you're thinking about the law of physics, if they're less than 4.9, they're not 4 foot 9 inches. They're not going to fit in that seat belt properly.
Right.
And what we talked about, all the injuries to the squishy parts become much more likely because the seat belt doesn't fit properly.
And booster seats are the cheapest phase of your car seat process.
Yeah,
as a
so
parent.
easy.
So there's honestly no excuse. You can go buy those little booster seats, and I know they're not cool, but I'm sure they make camo ones for those boys. And I'm sure they make pink ones for the ladies.
And I saw
But-
one that's really cool that was like very low profile,
Yeah.
not even very obvious that, so if
They have
someone's
like one that
embarrassed-
looks like a wedge.
Yeah.
And all it is to elevate the child in the vehicle seat, so that seatbelt hits those reinforced hard parts and not sitting over those squishy parts.
Yeah, the way they're supposed to. Yes. So we have a couple of seat events coming up, right? So did we mention that? Magnolia.
Sure, yeah, Magnolia.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
November
That is-
5th.
gosh, it's Friday.
It is. Today's Friday.
So tomorrow in Magnolia, in front of the Berkshire Brothers on 1488, we will be having a car seat event. Remind me of the times. 10
9:30? 9:30 to 11:30
Okay,
is
I
what
was
I
going
have
to say
written
10,
down.
probably 10 to noon. We probably have to be there at 9:30 to set up. But you can make an appointment for that one online. And which, if you're wanting, again, you're one of those people that you want to show up at a time, get your car seat checked, I would highly recommend making that appointment. Or if you're one of those people that you forgot to go online, that's okay too. You can show up and get your car
Yeah,
seat
we don't turn
checked.
people away.
Right. Nope.
And then November 17th, there's another one at the Tree of Life Lutheran Church.
Here in Conner on the Loop.
Yep. And that one starts at 8:30 or starts at 9?
It starts at 9.
Okay.
And
9
we
to
usually
noon.
go into, noon, 11:30 noon or so. And again, that's appointments.
And I think that's a Thursday.
It is. It's a Thursday morning.
Okay, yeah. So, and that, what you were saying, appointments, that one's appointments only?
It is. So that one, because we tend to have less people there, it's a more casual event, not so stressful event. It's appointments. So make your appointment. You can call. I'll give you the phone number now. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
I brought the phone number in. It is 832-919-7233. And that is our appointment line for our car seat program. Or you can go online.
Yeah,
we
in
have
case you can't remember those numbers.
So the website is a little bit hairy here. So it's skg-montgomerycounty.genbook.com. So you might be better off just calling.
Right. Or Google.
Yeah.
Safe Kids, Houston, Safe Kids.
Safe Kids Greater Houston.
Greater Houston.
So if you go to the Safe Kids Greater Houston website, you can find our booking link on there.
Yeah.
And you can go to our website at Montgomery County Hospital District. We have a tab that's titled Community. You can scroll down to the car seat tab, and it gives you all the information there too.
And I think that they have a calendar on there where you can look at all kinds of events going around the Houston area. And then, worst case, you can't get out to a site, you just whatever, kids, you can call our office, you can call my office. Do you guys do?
We don't typically, because of that 2-person requirement. So I don't have 2 people that are always readily available. So we do recommend the appointment, but if it were like an emergency, we've had some instances where we've had people emergencies, come out and check car seats.
Yeah. So so at my office as well, we can check them out to make sure that they're safe. And I guess maybe the drawback to that, there's usually not replacement seats available.
Right. That's why we ask for those appointments.
So so keeping kids safe is a really important thing, and we could we could probably talk for another hour or two about car seats and keeping them safe. But again, it kind of depends on the child and the vehicle. And the seat, and it's a combination of all. So we can't just give, there are some basic common mistakes. There are some, the ages and the weights and all that are pretty common, which I would mention booster seats. 4 years, 40 pounds. They need to be 4 years, 40 pounds before they go into booster seats, or whatever the manufacturer says. But usually they have to be at least 4 years, 40 pounds. There's lots of that. So we could talk about that more, but we are kind of running out of time, and I want to give you a chance to talk about your other kind of project that you're working on now.
Absolutely. So we're going to
take a break? Make this segue. Nope. We're going to keep going.
Keep going.
Yeah.
All right. So
we've got so much to talk about, and Dick said it was okay. I didn't have to take a break, so I'm like, let's go. Let's talk about things.
So one thing that we're working on, and this is kind of coming up recently, I guess, to our attention. We have in Montgomery County what's called the Child Fatality Review Team, and they review all the child deaths in Montgomery County, and it reports to a larger body, the state of Texas. And the goal of this team is not to sit around and talk about child fatality, but to figure out, are there preventable deaths, and can we fix that? Can we do education? Can we create programs? How do we fix those treatable causes? And so one of those is safe sleep. And it's kind of a sadder note from our car seat topic, but it's actually probably the leading cause of death in Montgomery County for our infants. And when I say safe sleep, I mean co-sleeping and those inappropriate sleeping habits. So putting a kid to bed in an adult bed with blankets and pillows, or not using a firm mattress, or putting too many blankets and things in the crib with the baby, things that cause suffocation and eventually leading to the death of these babies. And so we want to talk about those things. So what can we do to prevent child death related to that? And it's I say it's little things, and it is. It's not putting your kid to bed in the adult bed with adults. Those excessive pillows and blankets. So an infant should be put to sleep on their back, in their crib, and with a fitted sheets. And really, you should swaddle them, but all those pillows and, again, those cute things that they give you for your baby shower, those are for later in life. So those first few months, that's what's going to help keep our kids safe, our infants safe, and prevent those suffocation-related deaths and injuries. And
so the most careful times need to be, you said, the first few months after. I mean, I know that safety is always an issue, no matter how old the child is. Need to take safety precautions. But so I'm thinking, as a new mom, I might be going, oh my gosh, I can never put blankets on my baby. When do I, how am I going to do that?
Yeah. So a lot of people say 1 to 6 months, but you can even find evidence to support up to 1 year, because they, their ability to roll over and things like that and get away from, the things that are suffocating them is smaller. They don't have that opportunity when they're tiny and, brand new.
Right.
And so up to 1 year.
Okay. So, wow. Okay. Anything else that you want to mention before?
So we are working with so our child fatality review team is made up of a bunch of different people in the county. So law enforcement, the DA's office, our county commissioners and judges, they're all, interested in what we're trying to accomplish. Our EMS service, even Child Protective Services, just as a way for us to educate all of our families in Montgomery County. And so we're working on some campaigns to push that education. And we would love for parents to be, to educate themselves. So go online, research Safe Sleep.
Yeah.
There's large campaigns that are coming out there. Our hospitals are starting to get on board. So hopefully you'll see more from us soon on Safe Sleep here in Montgomery County.
And then again, somebody wants to get a hold of you, find out more information about all of this awesome stuff that you've talked about. How do they get a hold of you?
So my line at Montgomery County Hospital District is 936-523-1146. Or you can go online to our website. I'm sure my name is on there probably no less than 10 times. So.
Ashton Herring,
Yes,
like a
Herring.
red herring.
Like a fish.
Like a fish.
Not like the bird. That's a heron.
Ah.
People make that mistake all the time.
Yep.
It's herring, like
With
the
a G
fish.
at the end. All right. And I'm Amy Ressler. I'm County Extension Agent for Family and Consumer Sciences. We also have all types of education. If there's something you want to know more about, give us a call. Thanks for joining us. You're right here on the Extension Hour on Lone Star Radio.
Thanks for checking out this production on Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's radio station. For more information on this show and other shows on Lone Star, check us out online at irlonestar.com. If you're interested in sponsoring a program on Lone Star Community Radio and reaching the local audience of Montgomery County on FM, internet, and TV media, please call 936-647-5747 or contact us online at irlonestar.com. This recording is a Lone Star Community Radio production, produced by the show host and Dick Schisler of Lone Star Community Radio. Interested in volunteering as a music DJ or starting your own talk show? Contact Dick Schisler at dick@irlonestar.com or by phone at 936-647-5747.